So a lot of critical things to discuss today. It's been a while since I made one of these types of videos and kind of an update on a few things. Life here can be a roller coaster. You have your ups and you have your downs, and that's why it's so important that you plan this out. Merida can offer a great livelihood, and I meet and talk to a lot of people on the phone. I meet a lot of people that visit, and I'm hearing all sorts of stories and reasons why people come and why they leave and why it doesn't work out. A lot of people show up with good intentions, and then things go south. A lot of this stuff here with making a move abroad is mental. We watch a lot of stuff on YouTube, and you see all the positive sound bites and highlights of people's lives, and for most people, for most part, it's good, but it's highlights. And if you get caught up in the highlights, man, it's easily to be deceived into thinking that life is going to be one way, when reality hits when you get here, it's going to be a completely different way. It's difficult for people to make friends. A lot of people tend to keep to themselves. A lot of people are shy. A lot of people, they watch, like I say, they watch a lot of these highlights. They come and, they have this false sense that, hey, I'm gonna be friends with these people or that people or this people. And a lot of these people, man, they living their lives and they got things going on. And I often say this, and I'm kind of all over the place today because there's so much I got to talk about. I often said in the past videos, if you have marital problems, if you come in with your spouse, and if you have marital problems in the States or wherever you're from, you're gonna have marital problems here. You will not believe the number of stories I hear and the number of people that come here together and then the other spouse leave and go back to the States, or the other spouse leaves and get their own place 15 minutes away from the other spouse, and they live in their separate lives. If you didn't fix those problems before you left, they ain't gonna get fixed here. And again, I think a lot of people come with the idea that Merida is gonna fix their problems, and really, man, you got to work on the problem. Same thing with a lot of people thinking that, hey, if we get a baby and our relationship is going to be better. No, shawty. It's about to get worse. And coming to Merida, your life is probably going to get worse if it's already bad, which is why I stress planning and planning and planning and having a plan. I talked to a lady the other day, and I could just see the tears in her eyes. She's lost all hope in, life in the States. And it's not just the States, it's just that she reached a point where life is not going and moving and flowing as well as she thought it would at her age, and didn't think she'd find herself in the situation that she was in, and now she's having to start all over. So, and in the act of having to start over in the States, now contemplating coming to a new country to start over. And like I say, don't be deceived into believing that this place is going to solve your problems. You got to work on those problems. When I say work on those problems, I mean, one, yes, work on those problems. And two, you got to know what you want and why you coming here and how coming here is going to make your life better what are the things you can do to make your life better. You got to really know the answers to these before you even get here, because if you don't, like many people, you're going to get here and things are not going to go the way you thought. It's not going to be the way you saw. You have to kind of create your own new life, your new identity, create a purpose. Even now, man, I ain't even gonna lie. I'm here 5 years, and right now, this is one of the reasons why I'm shooting this video upstairs. I ain't want nobody to hear me talking. Even now, I'm in a slump. I ain't feeling good. You know, everybody online happy-go-lucky and just happy. I ain't so happy right now. I don't know why. You know what I'm saying? I got it better than most. You know, I ain't gonna say most, got it better than many. But yet, man, I find myself in this slump right now. Got a lot going on, and I'm gonna share some of that with you. And I go through these phases. Sometimes I go through these phases where I just don't want to be bothered. Kind of like I guess, a depressed state, for lack of a better word. And oftentimes we don't talk about it. You know, as a man, we don't talk about it. But man, I'm finding myself just in a slump, and I'm just like, man, I'm 52. You know, my kids are older now. They about to be on their own in a couple of years. And now I got to kind of find my own, you know, purpose, identity. And that's kind of depressing. You know, they older now. They don't hang out with me as much as they used to when they were younger. They kind of getting their own lives, their own friends, going to their own places. Talking about they about to get their own place. They trying to get their own place now. I think this summer they looking to go stay with their sister in Florida for a couple of months, get some summer jobs, make some extra cash, and come back. And, you know, but they're their age. Charlie will be 18 in September. Haley will be 20 in January coming up. And so they growing, and you know, a lot of my whole life had really been built around them, trying to make sure they had what they needed, and just trying to encourage them to find their purpose and find their passion. You know, growing up, there were things that I wanted to do, but you know, my parents was like, "Oh no, you need to get a real job, and you know, you can't be daydreaming like that." And you know, so when I had my kids, it was like, hey man, I don't care what it is y'all want to do. Whatever it is you want to do, I'm going to support you 1,000%. If you want to be a circus clown, we're going to find the best circus clown in the world for you to go learn how to be a circus clown. You know, so bulk of my life have been spent pouring into them. And, you know, and so now that's about to come to an end. And as they get older, so I'm just in this slump. I've been riding folks around, taking people around to see houses and share Merida with them and do tours and whatnot. And man, I don't know. I think I'm getting tired. I don't know not that I'm tired, but when I hear a lot of people, they dump a lot of their trauma on you. You know, and often people complain about my price has been so high and stuff like that. And this is one of the reasons why I do charge. Because a lot of folk, when they come, they just trauma dump all the bad experiences that they had in living in America, the system working against them, their family working against them, their friends turning against them, their spouses turning against them. The kids don't like them anymore. I mean, I'm hearing these stories all day, every day. And I think it's wearing me down. You know what I mean? And it's like, okay, I need to get find something to do, something else to do, possibly. Because I'm a super positive person. And, you know, but when you hear this stuff and receive this stuff, all day, every day, it does wear you down. So even now I'm contemplating, you know, this year may be my last year doing this type of work, which is why I'm spending so much time studying and trying to learn day trading with Robert's day trading program. Um, I want to master it because I do see this as a pathway out as another source of income that could fund my lifestyle. Um, so that's why, and I'm still day trading. Just I haven't made any updates yet, partly because of this slump that I'm in, and so I gotta learn it because I'm ready to free myself. This business here has kind of turned into a job. Didn't necessarily really come here to start this, but it just kind of turned into that. And I've enjoyed, don't get me wrong, I've enjoyed doing this over the last 5 years, but I think I'm reaching to a point where it's time for something new. I thought I saw something flying on my bed. I got thinking about going back to my roots, which my roots has always been working with startups. I always like working with people starting new businesses. My background specialty was helping people start online courses and package up their talents, their knowledge, and their skill sets. So I'm thinking about going back to that. That's the kind of first thing that come to mind. And I've actually put something up online just the other day, helping our new students package up their courses and turn it into income. If you're interested in that, I'll put some links down in the comment and description below. But I don't know, trying to find myself. Struggled with ADD all my life, and hard for me to sit in one place. And I think that's probably the other thing that's causing me more stress. I'm not used to just sitting still in one place. This is probably one of few places that I've just stayed at the longest. 5 years is a long time for us. My dad was in the Army. We were moving around every 1.5 to 2 years as we were kids. And I just never been able to shake that. But I told the kids generally wherever they start high school at, or we'll sit tight until they finish, so I didn't have to move them around a lot. We moved around quite a bit. So I don't know. I'll pull out of this this little slump just in a matter of days or a week, But I'm good. Kim is in the hospital now. I'm gonna go visit her after I get off this video. So I've been telling y'all about her situation. She's been having some pain in her neck and her back and her arm. So we finally got, an answer on what's going on. She looked like she has to have, well, not looks like, but she'll need to have 3 cervical discs in her neck replaced. And so she's been going back and forth, interviewing doctors to try and determine who is going to do the surgery. It looked like we found one. So right now, she's sitting in the hospital, been there a couple of days, waiting on our insurance company to determine if they're going to cover it. So that's what we're waiting for right now. And as soon as we get the word on that, she'll probably have the surgery a day later, or the morning of if they get the okay early. So they did send a letter back today via email saying they approved her stays in the hospital so far, so we don't have to pay for that, and we're hoping to have an answer tomorrow. So, so she's good there. If worst case scenario, if they don't cover it, then that's a trip back to the States and get the surgery done there. So she's gonna be dealing with some pain for a while after the surgery and whatnot. So, like I say, there's a lot of stuff going on, and even the doctor looked at her and was like, "Man, you too young to have this problem." And they think it might have stemmed from her been in a car accident when she was young. I think they said they was in a car accident like when she was 10, had some whiplash, and that might have contributed to it, you know. So we're dealing with that. So that's not helping things any at all, you know. And it's just a reminder of how frail health can be and how out of the blue things can come along and knock you out. You know, I don't think she imagined that this would be something she would be dealing with at this age. And so here she is. You know, my mom is dealing with some issues with her vision, you know, and she's been like a foodie, raw vegan type person for like last 20 plus years. Look, you know, she looks so young. Every time I go home, people are like, that, what do they say? That's your younger sister. They don't believe she's my mom. They think I'm the older brother. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I look that bad. You know, standing next to her, yeah. You know, and in a million years, she didn't, you know, I was talking to her the other day, in a million years, she didn't think it would be her eyes that get taken out. You know, so I'm trying to think into the future. You know, what happens, you know, if her vision doesn't improve, you know, because she don't want to move to Mexico at all. And so I got a lot of things weighing down on me. You know, like I told Kim the other day, I'm like, man, I ain't young like I used to be. I'm you know, 8 more years, we'll be 60. And, you know, moving at a much slower pace than I used to and walking at a slower pace than I used to. These bones are aching, you know what I mean? I'm trying to eat better and whatnot, you know. And so I'm like, man, I'm ready to enjoy life a little more. And I got to sit down, like I'm telling y'all the plan, and I got to sit down and think, what does that look like? What does that life look like? What does the next 15, 20 years look like? I've been so focused on trying to get our finances in order that I forgot to focus on living intentionally with purpose. And so that's where we're at. Think this thing through, y'all, before you come. A lady we took to the hospital the other day, met her at the hospital. We took her to the hospital a week ago. Wasn't feeling well because she called, and we took her to the hospital. They gave her some fluids and sent her home. And then the other day she called saying she wasn't feeling so well. So we met her at the hospital on this time, and they ended up keeping her for a few days. You know, she didn't have insurance, and so this is where I'm going with this, because anything can happen out the blue, just like Kim's situation. They admitted her to the hospital, but they charged her 250,000 pesos up front, immediately before they even put her in. Lady has very good steward with her money, had the money to pay it, charged it on the card. Talked to her today. It looks like she's gonna be in there a day or two extra, so that means I don't know if that's gonna go up or down a little bit. But things happen, man. I just want y'all to have realistic expectations, to be ready. There are insurance companies here that you can sign up for that will provide you health care coverage. And yes, it can be expensive. And I'm sorry, I'm dealing with a cold on top of things now. I think I caught this cold in these hospitals. It nothing worse than having a cold in Merida when it's 105 degrees outside. That would make it even worse. I'd rather have a cold when it's cold. You know, But so insurance can be expensive, but it's not going to be as expensive as having to pay 250,000 pesos up front just to be admitted into the hospital and additional costs. So that's why I say do your research, investigate, plan this out, because one medical emergency, it can wipe you out, literally. I'm not saying don't come, I'm just saying be aware of real life situations and scenarios that tend to play out quite often. Another fact that you be completely oblivious to is the number of foreigners who die here. What is your plan if you die, or not even just you, but your spouse die, one of your kids die, one of your siblings die, family members die while you're here? What does that look like? Have you thought that through? Because things happen. Car accidents, people get sick, a wide variety of things. That's why I'm saying think this through. Don't get caught up in the hype. Whatever your life looks like there, for the most part, it's gonna look like that here. If your life was chaotic and hectic there, it's gonna be chaotic and hectic here. If your life was a mess there, it's gonna be a mess here. If you were scared of everything there, you're gonna be scared of everything here. If you were a conspiracy theorists there, you're gonna believe that that people are conspiring against you here, or the system is conspiring against you here. You can't outrun yourself. Wherever you show up, you is there. So like I said, have a plan. Do not make any decisions based on folks' highlights and Instagram reels and Facebook clips and YouTube stories and all of that stuff. No. My first piece of advice would be to come here and check out the city for yourself, even if it's only for 2 to 3 days. Just come see. You know what I mean? A lot of people, you'd be surprised again how many people get here and they're like, I don't like the way it looked. That's the least of my concerns, how it looked. But that's the issue for some people, so it's important. The heat is an issue for others. The humidity, it can be an issue for others during rainy season. I mean, honestly, I'm 52. Me and Charlie went to the grocery store today. While Kim was in the hospital, went to the grocery store to grab some stuff so I can keep the house stocked while back and forth to the hospital. Got in the car, man, I think it was like 103 degrees today. Got in the car, touched the steering wheel, burnt my damn hand, put my hand on the gear to get in the reverse so I can back out, burnt my hand on that and put my seatbelt on, burnt my hand. I said, man, I'm getting too old for this. It's too hot. I'm getting too hot for this. It's too hot for this to be dealing with this, man. I was like, boy, do I really want to deal with this heat like this at 52? And I ain't gonna lie, every summer I complain about the heat. And this is a beautiful place. But at the same time, as I'm trying to figure some things out, don't be surprised if you find my behind somewhere in Germany in a year or two. So I guess we could just call this a rant video. I don't think I've really ranted before, But like I said, I'm still trying to figure some things out. Our building plans have been put on hold until we, figure this thing out. She really want to do the surgery here, so cost ain't cheap. So might be paying for that if the insurance don't cover it. Because it's just easier just to stay put. Even if the insurance cover it in the States, it's easier just to stay put here. versus because we don't have a home back in the States. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, do we just suck it up and do it here and call it a day? So I don't know. We're weighing all those options. So like I said, I'm still trying to find myself. Kim is going through that phase as well. You know, like I told her, I was like, man, we got to figure it out together. You know, and I can't do it on my own. I'm not. I ain't 25 no more. You know, I need some help. You know what I'm saying? And we just need to sit down and brainstorm and figure some things out. And so that's where we at. Life is still happening. Life is still lifing when you get here. And just try to be a little more transparent with y'all on this. And, you know, it ain't easy. Reading over my notes to see if I covered everything. Kim's surgery. I'm trying to do my mail. You know, but life's still lifing. I'm excited because the kids seem to be finding their way, finding their path. They've been coming to me with some ideas that they have for business. And, you know, so just thinking it through. My oldest one, Sky, my middle child, she's our middle child, 24. We have a 27-year-old and a 28-year-old in the States. But Sky is here back with us, 24. She launched her own channel. She likes talking about personal development stuff. So we got her channel up. We got her website up. We got her helping her put her course together right now. And she seems to be doing very well. She's off to a great start. She's excited about this. I haven't seen her passionate about something. So this is the first time I'm seeing that. So they are off to a great start. I don't know what's going to happen with the kids when they go stay with their sister for the summer in Florida. I told her, I was like, man, y'all might not come back. You know what I'm saying? Life happens, man. You know, so I guess that's all I wanted to share with y'all. Plan this out. And we do have a course on the site at the Academy that you can sign up for. Check it out. And they got a whole section on out there just planning your life abroad. You know, we did that when we first got here, and it changes. The plan changes, and you got to constantly update, constantly evolve, and and keep on living. So I don't know what tomorrow's going to bring, but today I'm miserable with my cold. So anyhow, if y'all like to talk, book a consultation, pray for Kim surgery. What else? I know I haven't been responsive to emails a lot lately. Hopefully after this surgery done this week, hopefully I'll kind of get back to a regular routine and following up more quickly and whatnot. So it's just been a lot of work. You know, people were still coming into town, assisting them with their things, finding a home, finding a rental. So that still continued on regardless of the stuff I had going on. So if you need help finding a place, if you need help buying a house, buying land, finding a rental, or if you need to consult, check out the links on the website. I put a link in the description, moveabroadandthrive.com. Like I say, it's quite possible that this year will probably be my last year doing this. So if you are planning or moving, need some help, reach out to me. A lot of new folks, a lot of new influencers here online in Merida, pushing out their services. So there's plenty of people that can assist you should I walk away. So that's my TED Talk for today. Thank y'all for listening to me rant. Appreciate you. Have a great day.